So it's great to be here. John and I are here to talk about a new service that was introduced in the Moira Shire late last year. It's a service that we're very excited about and proud of, so I hope you find this presentation interesting and I hope I can use the IT. Just mindful that this is a national conference, I thought I'd start with a little bit about who is Moira Shire. Moira Shire is on the Murray River in Victoria, in central Victoria. We've got 4,000 square 100 kilometres, so it's a large rural council, but with a small population. We're just under 30,000 residents in Moira Shire. To put the Moira Shire Council going beautifully here. So the services that Moira Shire provided in terms of waste before December 2014 included a landfill that has an intake of about 14,700 tonnes per annum, 8 transfer stations and, oh yes, thanks John, there you go. Our landfill is currently undergoing a rehabilitation which is valued at about $2 million. We're hoping to get that wrapped up at the end of this financial year. But as the previous slide referred to, our capital program of 10, a $2 million waste program is a significant chunk of what the Moira Shire is required to spend money on to service its residents. In terms of curbside services, we have about 12,000 residents or households that are provided a curbside service. That includes a weekly 120 litre waste service and a fortnightly 240 litre recycle. Before December 2014, there was no council operated green or organic curbside service. Audits we've done of our waste did indicate to us that approximately 30% of the material that was landfilled at Cobram each year was organic material, and about 54% of the waste from curbside was also organic. So it was a significant part of the waste stream in Moira Shire. So what we did in December 2014, thank you, was introduce a full organic waste service, curbside service. This was a compulsory service. Oh, perhaps you should operate that for me. Very good team. So it was a compulsory service on a fortnightly collection for the 4 main townships of Moira Shire, being Cobram, Yarrawonga, Numurkah and Nathalia. They added up to about 7,800 households. It is the full suite of material that's collected, including meat, leftover meat and bones, all of the general green waste products, animal droppings and small deceased animals. We are careful how we communicate that living in a agricultural area, but the capacity for the service is certainly there. As well as the 240 litre bins that are collected fortnightly, the residents received an 8 litre kitchen caddy, and each year they will receive 150 compostable bags to use in their households. To assist the residents know how to go about using this service, they were also provided with a full information brochure about the organic service with frequently asked questions and general information, as well as a fridge magnet curbside service information brochure that really goes into the basics of what goes in each bin and how often will it be collected. So they were publications that the Moira Shire produced in-house, and we've had some very positive feedback on them. The service that was applied as a rateable service was $97.20 per annum. Last year we started in December, so it was prorated for the 7 months that was in that rateable period, but from July of 2015 it will be the $97.20 per household. Thanks, John. Just to show you, back one, back another one. This is the map of Moira Shire. It's 120 kilometres east to west and 60 north to south. And the dark green spots there indicate the towns that are serviced by the curbside organic service. So I just included that to give you a bit of an idea of some of the logistics that are involved, particularly for the collection contractor. So how did we go about introducing this service? It's been researched since for a long time. You people would be well aware of how long this has been investigated. In 2008 was the first report to council that I've been able to find about when we were starting to look into organic services. In 2012, we rolled out a full service, as I've just described to you, as a trial. It went to 230 households in one of our townships over a 14-week period. And through that, we got a good indication of how the community felt about the service and how they improved their understanding and knowledge of what the service is trying to achieve and how it works over that trial period. The end of that indicated that 96% of the households that participated were supportive of having this service and having some sort of financial contribution to it in the long run. So it really gave us the confidence that the community was going to get behind this if we were to roll it out on the broader scale. As Jenny mentioned this morning, in 2013, the Victorian Government released its Getting Full Value Waste Policy, which was accompanied by the statewide Resource Recovery Infrastructure Plan. Both of those documents highlighted organics in the state government's agenda. So again, that sort of kept it on our radar as a must-do, high priority activity. In April 2014, the Moira Shire Council approved a report that had the following recommendation. That council approved the implementation of a full organic curbside service for the residential areas of the four main towns of Cobram, Nathalia, Numurkah and Yarrawonga, based on a full cost recovery model. That was unanimously supported by council, and there's been a few nervous moments along the way, but their strength and commitment to that recommendation has never faltered. That's probably when the work really began. We had contracts to prepare and award, we had policies to develop and get endorsed, and we had a community to educate and inform. So there's one other thing I need to mention in terms of that recommendation that went to council in that report of April 2014. It was a public document, just in the normal part of council agenda, so anyone could read it and refer to it forevermore. There was one particular part of that report that we have continually referred back to, and it was the part that referenced the Local Government Act in Victoria and the fact that a council can impose a new charge on residents for the collection and disposal of refuse. So when we had politicians and different Commissioner of Small Business, regional advocacy bureaus contacting us, it was really great to be able to say, have a look at the website, all the information you need is there, it's public, and it's we're not doing anything actually beyond what we're allowed to do. So as I mentioned, we had the work to do, the contracts I'll come to in a minute. The policy that we got the councillors to adopt or recommended that they adopt was an extension of our general waste and recycling policy to encompass the organic component of the new services that we were providing. We did acknowledge that Moira Shire in this instance was working in a unique circumstance where a couple of exemptions should apply to the service. So they were put up and, as it turns out, supported by the councillors. They were exemptions for people in units to be able to share a bin so they could manage their space and the reality of their need better. And the other exemption was for people that already had a private business providing them with an organic or green service. There was one business operating in the Shire, and it was really important for council to not be seen to be in competition with a private business. So a process was developed there where people were able to be exempt on those two conditions. The contract, couple of features of the contract, they're 7-year contracts with 3 one-year extension options. It's in the contract documents that the full suite of organic material must be able to be processed, including all of the meat products and animal products. There's options for the superintendent to exempt properties or for the service to expand, which is something we are looking into to cover off other parts of the Shire. The price for the processing component of the contract was based on a 5% contamination rate or lower, with a different price for beyond a 5% contamination rate. And we vested all of the ownership of the organic material once delivered into the processing contractor. Council does not retain ownership of it from that point. So all those things happened. It sounds like something, it felt like something else. It was a very busy period of time. And then in August 2014, the residents of the 4 towns that I've mentioned received their rates notice, along with this info brochure about everything that your rates goes to, with the entire back page dedicated to curbside collection services and the introduction of the organic service, how it can be used. And of course they took a lot of notice of this because at the same time they had a new bill on their rate notice which they wanted some information about. So that was when we got their attention. And now I'm going to hand over to John, who's going to talk a bit more about how we then engaged.
Thanks, Sally.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, if you can do that. So in 2013, we had a grant for our local waste management group between 6 councils. It was $550,000 across the region. Our share of that, the shares were divided down to how many tenements you got. We'd estimated about 8,000 tenements is what we rolled out. Our share of that was $145,000. From that, to get alignment for all our education programs, we used that for procurement of the caddies and bags, and with some remainder. And we also had a $50,000 regional media campaign that was put. We actually combined with the Back to Earth program from the Metro Group, and we used the $50,000 to introduce the collateral for the food because they virtually had just predominantly green waste. So we procured the bags, and that gave us an alignment with all the other shires who are going to roll out using the same education program, so that all our collateral, our TV ads and everything all aligned across our media, because our media boundaries cross over because they're all adjoining councils. The campaign was designed to be generic enough so it actually ran across all the councils. It was quite good. We had a fairly broad community engagement program. We had television ads with Dr. Carl's. We all printed up Larry shirts and wore them everywhere. We employed Greenline Environmental Consulting, which was a great move for us. Jade Ballantyne certainly helped us with a lot of the stuff, had been there and done that sort of attitude. Our internal publications we had, including our rates notices, we made some of our own brochures. Our councillors were on board, media staff. It was a Shire-wide effort from everybody. We had 2,000 plus phone calls. A lot of those were directly after the rates went out. A lot of about 1,800 of them probably weren't that nice. But that gave us a really big chance to talk to the people, look at their concerns. It gave us a focus for who we should engage with. That was a very valuable component. We actually got the media on board, and they were very supportive. We had over 8 hours of local media, 35 newspaper articles. We went to all the local ag shows, and the good and the bad. We gave out some little freebies and spoke to a lot of people, and a lot of people were very supportive of it. We sort of you get the 1%ers, but you get that no matter what project you run. We presented to over 20 community meetings and over 1,000 people, and we also involved the coal with people with different language issues. As in some of my notes here, we had over 674 ads. We were on 3 local television channels over a 5-week period, which was about $14,000 for our component of that, and it was tailored. We tailored all the communications and we changed it dramatically. We weren't very fixed on what we did. As soon as when we got a lot of the phone calls, they were from the elderly, so we actually swung our focus, so we actually could tailor that campaign quite dramatically. We ran tours of all our transfer stations. We ran people through what we do at our transfer station and showed them the diversion and the lengths we go. We then took them down to the tip face and said that when it comes in your curb bin, we can't do this. If it goes to the face, it's finished for OH&S reasons and everything else. We showed them how we're spending $2 million on a rehab project, which was their rate money. And then we took them down to the composting facility and said, "Here, well, here's the answer." And out of all the people we took there, we got some really good champions, of people that really understood it and wanted to support it and wanted to actually help council and roll it out. So we pretty much took anything what we could get from the public. I'm getting the hurry up here. So we've got two main contractors. We've got very strong compactors that are really want to do the right thing. We took a triple bottom line approach. Our local curb contractor he solely exists for us. He's highly responsive to us. Our other contractor is Western Composting, very dedicated, zero emissions, compliant, EPA registered compliant contractor. Very happy with both those contractors. Both have been extremely valuable into the result we've got. So because I'm getting the wind up, I'll get to the result. The first roll in, we got 0.64%. It slightly rose for Christmas time because of bin capacity. We're a high tourist area. And then it's waned off, and now it's sitting about 0.5% on average. What I have noticed is the base contamination rate is about 125 grams per tenement, and just the actual seasonal has dropped off. So I've studied that, and I can't find any rhyme or reason to get it below that. There's no standard pattern to that, and I'm pretty sure most people will be happy to be sitting about that percentage ratio. So I'm pretty finished.